You're nobody. So a little while back, I received this invitation to speak here at TEDxUTPSalon. And my first reaction was this. As I was reading the email, I felt incredibly honored, but I had this confusing mix of excitement and fear. So as I was thinking about wondering what to do next, like any other computer geek, I decided to ask Google how to give a TEDx talk. It turns out that TEDx has a speaker's guide, which I immediately went through. And by the end of it, I had one word on my mind. Shit. See, the thing about TEDx talks is you're supposed to be an expert in something. And hopefully, you have some kind of revolutionary new idea to share. Now me, I'm a writer / blogger at my own website, MrStingy.com, which means that my core competency isn't something terribly exciting. It's a lot of staying at home, reading and writing articles on my laptop. Sorry, Saiful, I know you said something about technology. And if I'm being very honest with myself, it means that none of the ideas I have are really that original. Everything here is influenced, if not directly learned, from something that I've read before. But you're not an expert in anything. You're a nobody. Of course, there was no way that I could say no. How could someone who was once a proud student of this very university say no to an invitation like this? It's good to be back. But anyway, I went back into my little world of thoughts and I tried to figure out, what do I at least not suck at? But I couldn't decide, so like any good university student, I went back online to see if there was anyone I could shamelessly copy. I stumbled upon Tim Urban's TED Talk article from last year. And he's the guy that runs the wildly popular Wait But Why blog. And in the world of bloggers, he's as big time as it gets. Surprisingly, as Tim was preparing for his TED Talk, he felt way out of his league too. And as he was hanging out with his group of super accomplished TED speakers, guess what he discovered? Almost everybody felt equally terrified and unqualified. But you're not an expert at anything. You're a nobody. It turns out that most people have, at some point in their lives, felt that they didn't really deserve the success they have. Now, this isn't new information. It's called imposter syndrome, and research from as long as 10 years ago suggests that 70% of people will go through it. Personally, I think that number is way too low. So I'd like to ask all of you, how many of you have ever felt that you didn't really deserve the success you have? That you were actually terrible at your studies / job. Think people are crazy for looking up to you, and that you worry someone's going to find out and expose you. My message to you is, you're not alone. Maybe you're a nobody, but I'm a nobody too. Of course, being an engineer, this is where I kill the warm, fuzzy feeling in this room and get back to solving problems. So we know that everyone feels inadequate, at times at least. But how do we get around that? Because not only does imposter syndrome feel horrible, it can paralyze you. It makes you afraid to grab that great new opportunity. Because you're not an expert at anything. You're a nobody. So why organize that event? Why give that talk? At this point, the common words of advice that get thrown around are fake it till you make it. If I pretend I'm an expert and I work harder than everybody else, then maybe they won't find out. But I think there's a better way. And here's where I quote the next great blogger on my list. The author Mark Manson says that self-acceptance is the way out of this mess. Or in his typical laid-back style, we're okay. We can be better, but we're okay. To be clear, I'm not suggesting self-acceptance as an excuse. Here's self-acceptance gone wrong. I'm terrible at writing, so I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to copy someone else. What I am suggesting is self-acceptance as the first step towards progress. So I'm terrible at writing, but that's okay. I can learn to get better at it. Acknowledge not only the good points about yourself, but also the bad ones too, and still choose to be kind to yourself. In the words of vulnerability researcher and TED superstar, Dr. Brené Brown, because believing that you are enough gives you the courage to be authentic, vulnerable, and imperfect. So how do we take the next step to get out of our heads? Because to be honest, I've always been the kind of guy that gets stuck in analysis paralysis. Maybe it's the side effect of being a blogger, but I spend way too much time reading and analyzing, mentally masturbating, but instead of actually going out and doing stuff. But a couple of years ago, fresh out of a relationship, I decided I want to try something new. So I signed up for, of all things, a men's dating workshop. Yes, I did. Hey, last time we don't have Tinder. It's not so easy to swipe right on your phone to meet people. So anyway, one of the activities during the dating workshop was to actually go out at night and practice having conversations with women. Now, I don't know about you, but the idea of talking to strangers scares the hell out of me. And the goal wasn't even to get phone numbers or to score dates. It was merely to get comfortable saying hello. Still really terrifying for me. But my coach taught me a great lesson on taking action. He said that whenever an action feels too difficult to do, break it down into a series of smaller actions that don't seem as scary. So, for example, if my terrifying goal is to get from here to that pretty lady over there, tap her on the elbow and say, "Oh, hello," then the less scary steps, the less scary micro steps, would be to just focus on taking one step with my left foot, not so scary, one step with my right, then my left, then my right, until I got there. And everything worked out just fine. No, that did not actually happen. I failed, I screwed up, but what I did learn was the power of taking small steps towards a larger, seemingly impossible goal. Most of us here want to do something significant and meaningful with our lives. That's exactly why it's so terrifying. However, research has shown that huge goals can actually paralyze us with fear, but small wins can drive us forward. It's not the end result that motivates us. It's progress. If you think about it, logically, and compare yourself to somebody brilliant like Elon Musk, then we are all nobodies. And yet, we are all somebody to the people who love us. We should start to accept ourselves, despite all our weaknesses. And we can all make progress towards our terrifying goals by taking smaller actions that don't seem as difficult, but keep us moving forward. Because maybe in those small times, we find that elusive quality that all of us nobodies really need. Courage. Thank you.